Hi folks, welcome to today's painting tutorial where we're going to take a look at how to paint poppies in a field. And we'll do this with a wee bit of a background in it. There's two ways you can do it. You can do it like this, how the flowers and the poppies fit into the landscape, or you can do it huge poppies on their own on a piece of watercolor paper. For today, we'll do it in a landscape painting setup, and we'll probably follow up in another painting with how to do the poppies on. Yes, how to do the poppies on their own, bunny. So we'll get cracking on with that, and we'll give it a wee go. So first of all, we're just going to sketch in a bit of a loose landscape here, and maybe we'll put a wee building here. So it doesn't have to be anything terribly fancy. Just put a few wee indicators where you want those trees to be. And maybe a couple of wee lines here and there just to indicate where you want shadow to be, and different types of grass. Okay, just keep it all very loose here. Okay, we're going to have our poppies. Okay, so it's going to be quite a loose rendering here, so nothing too detailed. So it's going to be some good excuse to throw paint at the canvas. So first up, we're going to drop in our sky. But we'll mix up our paint first, which is going to be cobalt blue and maybe a wee touch of ultramarine there. And then we'll wet the page a bit. It's going to be a wet in the wet. I'll do this there. And then we'll drop in our colour. Like so. And then we'll just let that blend down into the horizon there. Like that. Maybe even put a wee touch of alizarin in there. A wee bit of yellow ochre. Okay, and then we'll mix our green up. Just take a bit of yellow ochre again there. Of course, if you have a yellow in your palette, you could even use that. In fact, I think I'll do that. Use this extra wee palette here. I think that colour there will do. And then we'll just drop that in there. Go a wee bit darker with that. And then we'll change the colour a wee bit. Let me drop a wee bit of ultramarine in there. Just do a couple of wee streaks throughout that there, just to give the grass a wee bit of variation. Okay, if you want to tone that down, just add a wee bit of yellow ochre into it. And then what we'll do is we'll just cut round those flowers, those poppies. So it's just a loose kind of painting here. Don't have to be too detailed about it. So if you're out doing this on location, you want to work quite fast, so you don't want to get bogged down in detail, or it will probably start drying out on you. We got a wee bit of neutral tint in that as well. Okay. And while that sky's still damp there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of wee bushes and so on in. Maybe switch to a smaller brush. It's a number 10. So I'm going to keep them on the kind of bluey kind of shade. So give us a wee go. So we'll just drop that in and pull it along the horizon line here. So again, it's just a bit of hit and miss. Do some around the house here. Might be a wee bit too blue, so we'll just put a wee bit of yellow ochre into that just to tone it down a wee bit. And that wee corner's just got a wee bit dry on me, so what I'm going to do is get my wee spray and give it a wee spritz like that, just to soften it up. Just to prevent us getting hard lines and stuff, and I'll just put that across there. And what I'll do is I'll frame this part of the house a wee bit darker maybe. Okay, that's my foundational wash. So what I'll do is just in case establishing where you want the shadows to come from. I do like it when these trees are casting their shadow on across the painting, but it's really a case of see what we'll do with the house there. I think what I'll do is I'll just clean that roof up a little bit. And you can do that just by using a bit of tissue and just Lifting that paint back out again there. Okay. So I'll just let that dry for a wee minute there. I don't like to use the hairdryer too soon. I like it to fuse a wee bit more. And then just got to make sure these aren't too dark. There's going to be the little dark bits around the poppies. Okay, I think I'll have the light coming from this direction here. Maybe hitting the front of the house. And then maybe this corner here, this side will be in shadow. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the hairdryer now just to give it a wee quick dry. I think we'll just work on the foreground now. And then we can come back to the middle distance a wee bit later. Okay, for this we're going to want some of the strongest reds you can find in your palette, and get it as red as you can. Keep it quite neat. And what you might actually have to do is add a wee bit of orange into that mix. Just kind of work between these here until you get a color you like. It takes a wee while just to get it. I'm going to put a wee bit of alizarin in there just to get it to the strength you need it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to dab it in around here. As you can see, I'm keeping this whole thing very, very light, and I'll say light, I mean very loose and impressionistic. It's okay to go for those darker bits that you've done earlier, it's fine. Okay, so this is where we're going to do a bit of spattering now. So what I would recommend is you get a bit of tissue down here, or card, because this is going to get quite messy. Okay, and then what you want to do is try and hit your brush at a bit of an angle, like that there. Just to give the impression that it's poppies getting smaller as they kind of go away from you, up into that field there. As you'll probably remember from our Christmas card series, with all the spattering technique, it does get a bit messy. So it's just really trying to get that, see that angle there? And what I'm doing, I'm just flicking like this here. And then just go in, just paint the odd wee bit here and there, and don't forget you can come back to this later on, you know, put in the little black parts of the poppies at the center. Trying to get enough paint in there, isn't it? It's always the tricky part. Let's have a wee look at that now. Yep, I think that's looking quite spotty. Maybe just put a couple of other wee ones in around here and stuff. Takes you to go over some of them a couple of times just to get them really red and vibrant, you know. Making sure get all those white bits kind of blocked in there. It'll create a nice frame for us. What I'm going to do now is mix up quite a dark colour, and I'll do for the centre of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my multimarine and then some of that alizarin crimson, and then maybe a bit of neutral tint. So again, you want this to be quite thick in consistency, this mix. So not too much water, but but yet enough to make the thing work, you know. And then we're just gonna, while it's still kind of damp there, we're just gonna drop wee bits in here and there. Just drop it in the center of those wee poppies there. Just let it bleed on out into the red there. Don't overwork it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to that the middle distance there, and we're going to work on the little house and the trees beside it. So what we're going to do is we're going to tackle the roof first. So I'm going to take a little bit of my light red. That's the one that looks very terracotta. And then we'll just drop that in this side of the roof. And maybe a wee bit down the side here, like that. Just very, very simply. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to work on the side of that little house there, and I'm going to mix up my shadow colour, which is cobalt blue, alizarin crimson, which gives me a nice purpley colour, and we'll try that. What I'll do is switch to a smaller brush for that. Okay, and I'll do a little bit down the front here as well, just to indicate the shadow underneath the tiled roof. So at this stage I'm going to mix up a nice olive green colour. So I'll get a bit of blue, bit of yellow, and maybe a wee bit of neutral tint. Don't worry, if you don't have neutral tint, you could put one of your browns in, and that'll give you a nice dark green. Okay, so we'll start over here, this section. And then we'll put some trees and stuff around here. And then maybe drop a wee bit of clean water underneath that, just to let it soften up there. And put some little bushes around the front of that house there. And then we'll do that a wee bit darker there. We drop one in here. Down here. And then maybe a few wee bushes in and around here. All helps to kind of frame the house there a bit. Maybe a couple just going down the top of that field a bit there, and maybe do a tall one here again. Okay. In fact, I think I'll do that, the same of those. I'll just kind of plop the brush on rather than doing the ziggy-zaggy bit. And what we'll do is we'll just run a wee bit of light water on that, just to soften up the bottoms of those bushes and trees. And then we'll get a tissue and we'll just top the sides here and just gives that impression that the light is just hitting the side of that. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll grab a wee bit of that dark stuff there, and then we'll put a wee window here and there. So at this stage, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to mix up some more of that really dark green stuff. So I'm going to kind of come in around those poppies. So at this stage I'm going to get some of my white gouache and I'm going to grab some red paint here. I'm going to do a few wee highlights here. So first of all, get your red. Stick a wee bit of orange in that as well. So you want this to be quite neat. I don't mind it even being a bit more orangey. Try that. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a wee bit of white gouache. I'm going to mix that in with that. And because white gouache is quite opaque, what that means is when I put this on top of some of these poppies here, it should give us a wee bit of a highlight here and there. Maybe just a wee touch more. Just trying to get the right balance of paint here. Okay, so we'll try that. So just kind of wee touches here and there. Okay, we'll not do too much to that. We'll kind of keep it simple. And then what I'll do is I'll get my rigger now. And I want a nice kind of dark green here. And I'm going to just try and pull up some little stems. Again, you don't want to go too detailed with this, you know. all that's left for me to do now is just drop in a few wee birds here and there. Do any wee kind of drops of paint that has got spattered on your painting. This is a good way to put them to good use. And I'll just pop the old signature on now. So there you go, folks. There's a little simple painting there of some poppies in the foreground. So what I'm going to do now is just take this out of the way. And take that tape off. So have a wee go at that, folks, and just enjoy it. It's good fun, and you will get paint all over the place, but that's just all part of it. So until I see you next week, keep painting, and I'll see you soon.